What secret could ruin your life if it got out? Got busted with a lot of computers from my work, about $25,000 worth, and plead guilty to grand theft. They spelled my name wrong, wrong birthday, and I never gave them my DL or SSN. I don't remember it, I said over and over during my 90-day incarceration. That was 34 years ago, and I background check my name every few years with a racy heart each time. Nope. Not there. That I was an addict in my 20s. Been clean 9 years, and no one I work with or associate with at this point in my life, besides wife, kids, and immediate family, realized that 10 years ago I was an unrecognizable shell of who I am now. I draw furry corn and make great money off of it. I have a normal job, but I use the art money for things I want, like expensive clothes or Bath and Body Works candles. One time in elementary school, there was this really big important test. I was out sick that day, as were a handful of other kids, flu season. There were like 6 of us total who had to make up the test. We were put in a separate room and told to be quiet and focus on our tests. Our teacher would be checking on us very soon. A few minutes after she left, a voice calls out, "Does anyone know the answer to number 7? Next thing you know, we've got one kid looking out at the door while we all discuss and tell each other the answers. I think the teacher checked on us once after a while, but we were already mostly done and at a lull. We all got A's and high B's. I know this isn't a life-ruining secret, but I've been holding that in for almost 20 years, LOL. My friend burned down our school. He gave me the lighter the same day, but I never realized until a week later I was literally in possession of crucial evidence and could be charged for it despite not having any involvement in the arson. It's in my jewelry box to this day. I've been making 3D NSFW content for years, and during peak pandemic it became my main income. Now it's both my wife's and I's full-time job. Proud of the work, but it would ruin our relationships to family and friends if it got out. A cousin of mine tried to R-word me when I was young, and years later I tried to drown him with a hose. I put the hose at maximum in his throat, but when I heard my parents coming I stopped. After that I said to him, "If you tell anyone about this I'm going to really off you," but we didn't saw each other after that because his family moved to another state. I'm pretty sure I was touched as a kid by a distant, adult cousin we all called Uncle Junior. My only memory of it is that I had come to the living room to watch Animal Planet really early in the morning before school. I was only in the 2nd grade. He was watching TV from the blow-up mattress and asked if I wanted to cuddle under the covers with him. It was cold, and he was staying with us to keep us safe from our dad, violent drunk who Mom had kicked out, so I said yeah. I remember realizing he was only wearing a t-shirt and boxers when I got under the covers with him, and that made me feel really anxious for some reason. And that he was really warm, which made it worse. And everything after that is blank. I just remember getting a really bad UTI or yeast infection a couple days later, and my mom being really upset about it. Then Uncle Junior didn't stay with us anymore. Maybe it was all one giant coincidence. Maybe I don't remember anything after that because it was a totally normal morning for me and nothing happened. Maybe he just watched Animal Planet with me and didn't do anything weird or creepy at all. But I've never been able to shake this feeling of anxiety whenever I think about that day. This sort of sinking feeling of dread, like the kind you feel when you know something scary is about to happen while watching a movie, but you just don't know how or when it'll happen. I don't know about ruin my life, but as a rule, I'm not very open with people about my mental health issues. I had something of a paranoid episode about a year and a half ago which couldn't really be kept to myself, but pretty soon after I fell out of contact with all of the people who saw me like that, as well as anyone who might have been told about it secondhand. I still don't know how I left things with that group of people, honestly. It was a bit of a haze from my point of view. All I know is that I haven't reached out to them, nor have they reached out to me. I just took it as a clean break and tried to move on. I have schizoaffective disorder. Most people do not know outside of a few close friends. I don't tell people because they will use it as a reason to invalidate me. Even when I've opened up on here outside of the SZA sub, people have tried to infantilize me or have offensively tried to tell me what's best for me or school me about my disorder as though I am not living with it or as if I am not a functioning adult. The world likes to pretend it's becoming all woke about mental health, but it's not. So I don't tell people. If I were open about it, I think it would prevent me from getting jobs or making friends, and I think it would make people suddenly view me as incapable, as though they know best. Because people are stupid and watch things like A Beautiful Mind and suddenly believe they know everything. I've had more than my fair share of mental health struggles. Went for 2 years of inpatient therapy, treatment starting when I was 12 years old, and also had ECT when I was in my 20s. Thankfully, I've turned the corner and have an incredibly fulfilling life now, but I have zero idea how my current friends would react if they knew about the old version of me. This is my first real post, but ever since I was young I had an overactive imagination and would want to share my thoughts and ideas with everyone. I was made of every time I did, so I kept to myself to the point where I disconnect from the world into my mind, where I created friends and conversed in my head with these characters. Which many times when I am silent, I'm just ignoring the world and listen to the world I made for myself in my head. So whenever someone talked about sports, cars, posting on Facebook, Twitter, etc., or even hanging out with friends I would not know, because I just find it hard to speak to anyone. How utterly horrible I was to a former partner. He wasn't the greatest as well in his actions, being unfaithful and lying, but my words cut deep and I still regret how much and for how long I lashed out at him. If I could go back, I would have left gracefully and peacefully. If the extent of it got out, I don't know if I would be able to redeem myself, but I'm taking it as a lesson. To pass my high school graduation writing exam, I just wrote the story to Gears of War because I didn't study or prepare beforehand. I've kept on the down low. I used to be an alcoholic. I used to live in one state and moved to another, so it made it easier. I went to rehab and detox after aftercare program. Afterwards a sober home and my own apartment, but it's always a stigma if I let anyone know my journey. I'm 31 and honestly it sucks because I want to break free from lying, but it's tough because I believe anyone I tell will judge me and not want to talk to me. It's easier to lie. And it's worked so well so far, so why fix what's not broken? But I also get how it can eventually catch up. Just stuck in the middle. I nearly pooped my pants in a Walmart, but didn't quite make it. It landed in front of the toilet as I squatted mid-air. I ended up getting some on my pants and shoes. An employee walked in mid-poop and commented that the smell was the worst they ever smelled and swore when he saw the droplets on the ground. I cleaned up as best as I could, but instead of leaving immediately, I kept on shopping. I haven't told my parents, my husband knows, but I quit my job to become a stripper recently. I have more quality time with my family, I am more financially stable, I've gotten into better shape, and I don't have to worry about budgets or bills as bad. If we need something in the house, it can go on the monthly or the weekly lists depending on severity. If Hubs needs a new project, I can give him his guy time. If my kid is sick, I can afford the medicine. I don't have to worry about money, and neither will my family compared to my childhood where I spent my time extremely worried about whether we'd have food, electricity, heat, or AC, or tampons. It feels good to be in a stable home, and even if I am stripping to do it, I'm happy to be able to provide for my family the way I am. I'm disabled and almost dead broke, but everyone thought I made money in crypto, so no one will help. I never told anyone I didn't pull out and got smoked. I'm about to be bankrupt and homeless and kicked out if don't make $1,000 in 2 weeks. I had interaction with my cousin when we both were young and drunk. Never ever did we speak about it. It was actually my first time doing it. I was shopping at Walgreens without a basket, trying to carry everything in my hands, and grabbed a king-size Snickers bar. When I got home, I realized I had put it in my pocket and not paid for it. I drove all the way back across town to Walgreens to pay for it, but I got hungry and ate it on the way, so I had trouble explaining to the clerk that I was trying to pay for a king-sized Snickers bar without leaving with an additional king-sized Snickers bar. I don't know if they rang it up or just put the $3 in their pocket. While I was driving in Alabama with a friend, we stopped to get snacks at a convenience store. I love tuna, so I grabbed a can, but my hands were full, so I slipped it into my pocket. Somehow the police found out and caught us and accused us of murdering the cashier. I called my cousin, who is a lawyer, and he came down with his fiancée. They ended up getting us both off. For like 3 to 4 years, I'd have some ramen cup barcodes and I'd put duct tape on the back of them, and I'd go into Walmart at the self-checkout and put the barcodes on maybe 2 to 3 items out of the usual grocery haul that I'd buy. I've finessed at least 7 to 8 portable chargers for myself for 25 cents that were about $25 to $40 each. I have about 4 to 5 of them still currently. I used this method a lot during college days when I was struggling like everyone else, but the fam would send me $30 for gas and food. I'm only working half of the time at work. I have managed to create a facade that makes it look as if I would work full-time on the project I was assigned to, but it actually takes only half of the time. Sometimes it gets a bit stressful, but most of the time I manage to organize everything in a way that allows me to do anything but my work at the office. On home office days, I mostly play video games. If I get asked how it's going, I lie in deceit to make it look like I am fully tied to my work and the schedules and deadlines, etc. I got really good at this. I guess I could lie about nearly anything now and most people would believe it. If my coworkers or my boss would find out that I get paid for a full-time job while only working roughly 20 hours a week, I'd get fired immediately. Additionally, I live in a small town, and that would probably ruin my reputation at any potential new job. I've been doing this for 2 years now. I'm mixed up in the fast food game. Sometimes I tell the homeless people around the corner what time we throw out the expired burgers so they can grab them from the trash. It's explicitly banned in our code of ethics that we sign when we start. According to Facebook, that blocked my original account. There was suspicious activity on my account. I looked it up and it was from my own computer, and I'm the only one who uses it. They demanded I send a picture and ID to reopen it. They claim I was unable to verify I'm me, so I think I stole my own identity. There was a guy on a hookup app close by looking for anonymous guys to come to his room while he was blindfolded and do it with him. I get there and it's one of my son's best friends who was a few years older and spends a ton of time at my house. I went on and somehow fell inside of him, like usually happens when guys post themselves as dumps and corny dudes show up. He never knew he was blindfolded. I was number 4 by the tick marks on his butt, and he was 110% preloaded. He was over at the house eating pizza with my entire family a few days later, and then we all went to a baseball game. Same normal Logan as he'd been since he'd been coming over when he was 12 years old. When I was really young, I'm not sure what age, I did it with another young person around my age. I'm talking we were barely 12 or 10. Neither of us really knew what we were doing, and both of us were fine with it, but I'm a guy and she was a girl. Neither of us have told anyone, at least I don't think, because I don't see her anymore, but if she wanted to turn it into a "this guy is an a-hole" kind of thing, I would be effed. Like, I would literally be completely doomed. My family would probably hate me, my friends wouldn't talk to me anymore, and my career would probably be over. I am a happily married husband and a father of 2 for 9 years. Also working as a mid-level executive for a Fortune 500 company. What my family and colleagues do not know is I starred in some nasty, you know what I mean if you check some of my previous posts out, adult movies when I was younger. Even I was wearing masks the whole time. I am still incredibly stressed out if anyone related to me would figure out that it is me performing those acts that are deemed abnormal by the society. That I'm not really that cold and hard that I have to pretend to be. I tear up in anime movies and can't hold myself back in front of even stray animals, and have to hold back my urge to hug the nearest person every time I'm super happy. Expressing myself has proven itself to be an invitation for bad people to abuse my generosity. Everyone looks at me like a wise and calm person now. At some points it feels like an incredible confidence boost, but at others it somehow makes it worse because I feel like an imposter in my own skin. When I was a kid around 8 or 9, I clogged the toilet at a Hilton hotel because I used too much toilet paper. When I came out, there was a lady waiting to use the stall and I lied to her and said I hadn't clogged the toilet, even though I had. I've never told anyone before. Wow, truth feels good. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Also check out our other videos and have an amazing day.